Halloween is a popular festival in many countries all over the world, and every year it seems to get bigger. It's getting dark earlier, and it's starting to get cold. Christmas is still a long way away. We need something to cheer us up and take our minds off the fact that winter is nearly here. Find out some more about the traditional festival of Halloween. The origins of the name. The festival of Halloween has its roots in Celtic and Roman traditions. Over 2,000 years ago, the Celts in Britain, Ireland and parts of France celebrated Samhain to mark the beginning of winter. When the Romans invaded, they merged this with Feralia, their celebration of the passing of the dead. As Christianity spread, the Church tried to replace these pagan feasts with official church holy days. One of these was November the 1st. It was called All Saints' Day, or All Hallows, and October the 31st was known as All Hallows' Eve, and then Halloween. Halloween traditions. In the past, there was a tradition called souling. Poor people went around houses asking for food. In exchange, they promised to say prayers for the dead. People no longer go souling, but the habit has been transformed into a modern Halloween game for children in America who dress up as ghosts, witches and monsters and go around people's houses asking for sweets. This game is called Trick or Treat. Witches. Halloween wouldn't be fun without witches. Witches have always been part of popular folklore. Shakespeare's play, Macbeth, opens with 3 witches. A witch was someone, usually a woman, who had special powers and had dealings with the devil. The American town Salem, in the state of Massachusetts, is famous for the witchcraft trials, which took place there in 1692. Pumpkins. The pumpkin has become a symbol of Halloween. People empty a pumpkin, cut a face into the side, and put a candle inside to make a lamp. It's known as a jack-o'-lantern, from an Irish legend about a man called Jack who made a deal with the devil. Animals. Black cats, frogs, mice, and spiders are just some of the animals associated with Halloween. Generally, the more unpleasant the animal, the stronger the Halloween connection. Nocturnal animals like bats are particular favourites, and if, as is the case with vampire bats, they like drinking blood, they are high on the Halloween list.
It must be Halloween. Yes? It must be October 31. So, what do you know about Halloween?
Halloween, all about dressing up.
Dressing up? What else?
And it's all about treats.
And candies. Yes. And candies.
And you know, a long time ago, if you came and knocked on the door, you had to do a trick for us before we would give you a treat.
Yeah.
And that was what it was. That was
Now you just get treats. You don't have to do a trick.
Special.
But in the old days you had to do it.
Yeah.
No.
And Halloween, hallow means holy. And so it's a really old word. And the "een" bit on the end of the Halloween, that "e" means nighttime.
Yes.
So it's a special holy night. And it was. Yeah, it was. And there's all sorts of pumpkins. And they cut the pumpkins because it's a special time of the year when there's harvest. Now, the special bit.
Okay. Higgett, what is your favourite colour?
My favorite color is red.
Red.
Well, you're very lucky because look, I got a red snake.
Oh, and
What is
colour?
your favourite
Yellow.
colour?
Yellow.
Oh, you're very
With a
lucky.
yellow
I hope-
snake. There. And last but not least,
They're candies. What is your favourite
Saddest
colour?
man of the lot.
Purple.
Oh, purple. Oh, goodness. Oh, yes, you're very lucky too. Hang on. Well, it's kind of purple.
We haven't quite got
See
purple,
the snake hedge?
but in the dark it might be.
They're yummy. They're
Okay.
yummy candies.
Okay.
Bye,
So-
trick-or-treaters. Bye.
Enjoy your night. Bye, guys.
Thank you. But if it is a Western celebration, why we are celebrating it? We are inquirers and we love to explore what is happening in the world. Then we are courageous too, as we are stepping outside of our comfort zone and being curious about celebrations around the world. Everywhere, being caring to everywhere, trying to understand what the other people is feeling and observing. Yes, so let's see how Halloween is celebrated around the world. Wow, that's so cool! This year we are celebrating Halloween too! Let's see how the little witches, ghosts and zombies are coming to PHIS. This is the way our witches fly, witches fly, witches fly. This is the way our witches fly, swish, swish, swish. This is the way night owls cry, night owls cry, night owls cry. Oh, oh, oh. Black cat holes, black cat holes, black cat holes. This is the way black cat holes. Meow, meow, meow. This is the way the witches fly, witches fly, witches fly. This is the way the witches fly, fish, fish, fish. Wow, that was cute. Now grade 1 is having a Halloween party. Let's sneak peek.
On the banks of the Hudson River, in a peaceful little valley, lies the little town of Sleepy Hollow, one of the quietest places in the world. In the olden days, men would linger about the local tavern sharing tales. Tales of gold
And spooky things.
And the headless horseman.
Ah! Yes, the most popular and terrifying legend of all is the tale of the headless horseman. Ah! The headless horseman was a ghost of a soldier on a horseback without a head. According to legend, his head was shot off by a cannonball. Yeah! And he rides up and down the roadway at midnight in search of his missing head.
Does he carry a torch?
I don't know.
If it's dark, he needs a light to see. You said he's looking for his head. But how can he find his head if he doesn't even have a head?
Do you want me to finish the story or not?
Yes, please. Go ahead.
All right, well. Once there was a school teacher by the name of Ichabod Crane.
Ichabod? What kind of name is that, Ichabod?
Ichabod Crane came to Sleepy Hollow in order to teach the children of the town. He was tall and lanky, with big ears and a long nose. Hurrying around town with his long limbs and baggy clothes, he looked a bit like a scarecrow. Ichabod was a fair teacher, but also strict.
Spare the rod and spoil the child, I always say.
And when he had to punish a misbehaving child, he would always say,
You will thank me for it one day. As per the custom in Sleepy Hollow, Ichabod would stay with a different family each week. He had an active imagination and would often startle at the sound he heard traveling from one farmhouse to the next late at night. Oh my! Bzzz. What's that? Who's there?
Ichabod was especially fond of the wealthy Van Tassel family. Mr. Van Tassel had a very beautiful daughter named Katrina Van Tassel. In order to spend more time with her, he offered to give her music lessons.
Ichabod really liked Katrina. But somebody else liked Katrina too. Yeah, Bones.
Bones was the complete opposite of Ichabod in every way, as Ichabod was thin and lanky.
Bones was big and burly.
Ichabod flinched at the sight of his own shadow.
Bones was a daredevil who was always ready for a fight. That's how he got the name Bones. Ichabod tried to win Katrina's heart with music, book, and picnic in the park.
Ichabod, you are so very clever.
Bones tried to impress Katrina with his good looks, big muscles, and tales of his bravery. I have never met a man so brave and strong.
The two rivals tried their best to win the favor of the lovely Katrina Van Tassel. When news spread of a party at Mr. Van Tassel's house, Ichabod and Brom were both very excited.
If Katrina agrees to dance with me, she will be mine at last.
When Katrina sees me dressed up in my finest suit, she won't be able to resist my good looks.
Ichabod spent a lot of time getting ready for the party and did all he could to do his best. He even borrowed a horse from a nearby farmer so he could ride to the party like a handsome prince.
But sadly, the horse was an old, tired plough horse. Ichabod didn't look quite as princely as he had hoped. Brom, on the other hand, looked like a hero as he rode to the party on his horse called Daredevil. Everyone turned their heads to watch as the handsome Brom arrived on his equally handsome steed.
Once the music began, Ichabod found his chance to shine. Music was his talent, and he was a fine dancer.
May I have this dance, Katrina?
Certainly, Ichabod.
Brom was very jealous of the attention Ichabod was getting. When the dance was over, the townspeople began to share the town legends. When the stories began, Brown Bones saw his chance to gain attention. The room got quiet as he began his tale.
I saw the headless horseman just last night. I was riding into town on my horse Daredevil when all of a sudden we heard the sound of a galloping horse closing in fast upon us. So Daredevil and I rode even faster. Then all of a sudden I saw him riding alongside us. It was none other than the headless horseman. But I'm not afraid of ghosts, so I challenged him to a race. Our horses galloped side by side, faster and faster. We rode like the wind. Until all of a sudden he vanished right in front of me in a flash of fire and smoke.
After that spooky tale, the party ended. People started heading home. It was close to midnight. As Ichabod left party, all of the ghost stories he had heard that night were playing over and over in his mind. Every once in a while he would hear a noise and jump with fright. The night seemed to grow darker and colder by the minute. He came upon the graveyard and an old, enormous tree that cast spooky shadows in the moonlight.
Ichabod grew more and more afraid. He kicked his horse to make him ride faster. To his horror, as he crossed the bridge, he noticed in the corner of his eye something large and terrible riding alongside him. Because it was so dark, he could only make out shadows. But he knew in his heart it was none other than the headless horseman.
As Ichabod turned to see what was behind him, the goblin rider heard something at him that he thought looked like a hand.
The object struck poor Ichabod and knocked him off his horse.
Ichabod Crane was never seen in Sleepy Hollow again.
Wow, headless horseman. Now grade 3 will perform a poem named There is a Witch Outside in My Window by Candace Bett.
There's a witch outside my window by Kenneth Bett. There is a witch outside my window and she will not go away. There is a gremlin on my doorstep and I think he is there to stay.
There is a troll demanding candy and a mummy wanting sweets. There is a ghost, a ghoul, a goblin, and they're clamoring for treats.
And as if that weren't enough to be considered rather shocking, a vampire rang my doorbell and the boogeyman is knocking.
My abode is now surrounded by the recently deceased. They're in search of gum and chocolate on which they plan to feast. It's the strangest situation that I think I've ever seen. How I wish they'd go away and just come back on Halloween. That was scary. I never want to see a witch outside of my window. But let's see what grade 4 is doing.
Jack-o'-lantern, shining bright, perched on the porch on Halloween night. I see you and greet you every year. October 31st is finally here. Jack-o'-lantern, shining bright, perched on the porch on Halloween night. I see you and greet you every year. October 31st is finally here. Jack-o'-lantern, shining bright.
Wow, that's so horrific. Oh, I mean terrific. Celebrating and observing international events, trying new activity, eating new food, understanding difference between countries and tradition, but still accepting them makes us open-minded and help us to be a good citizen of the earth.